a dish with D. That's me. Thank you for coming on this video, making your separate priority. I'm Denise. It is Monday. And Monday on this channel is my weekly weigh-in and the Weight Watchers technique for the week. I just sat through a Zoom or two, and I got this was an easy one to finally, I'm like, finally an easy one I could literally take notes for. And this is one of my favorite ones. I was excited to see this one. But did you go get weighed in finally, D? I did. Was it pretty? It wasn't, no. And the sad part of the whole thing is in my mind, caloric wise, I didn't deserve it because I know I did not overeat. It's just I ate a lot of the foods that seem to show inflammation in me. And we've had discussions about this. Yeah, a lot of those foods, and I knew better, and it was towards the end of the week, and sometimes you just, and this topic really ties into that. Sometimes you just do things you didn't plan, you didn't think, you just ate, and you paid the price for it. So when I stepped on the scale this week, I was up 4.2 pounds. 4.2 pounds. And I kind of like, I only wish I had ate more. To have a decent week and to have a 4.2 gain. And I do realize it's not what they call like fat gain. It definitely was probably a fluid gain. I understand that. It doesn't mean it doesn't ouch that much more. It does. But you know what? I did a whole reset vlog I uploaded it on Saturday. I did it Friday. And I didn't beat myself up because that would not be good. Because if I beat myself up, I'm going to have another gain next week, and I don't want that. So I just have to dust myself off, realize I'm human and sometimes things happen. And it didn't sting any less. Like I expected like 2. 2 was what I was thinking was going to happen. Yeah, about 2 pounds. 4.2. So much for my October goal, but we still have 1 week. So I have to get 6 pounds off this week. That's highly unlikely because I'll be happy with 3 pounds, honestly. But yeah, we'll see what goes. We've been doing better. We have to think before we put food in our mouth, and I know that, and I'm guilty of it. All right, ladies and germs, let's move on. We don't want to beat this dead horse because been there, done that, accepted it, need time to move on. So this week's topic is about food. It is called Shrink It, Swap It, Skip It, or Savor It. It's this time of year. We have holidays next month. We have holidays the following month. Where do you want to be? What is your game plan? Like they're basically setting us up for a game plan. We need one. We need a game plan, because to go into something without one at this juncture of my journey has proven bad. Yeah, I'm a Weight Watchers lifetime and I still make mistakes. So what are we going to do? Well, don't get tricked by treats this year. Make a game plan for how you're going to navigate the expected and unexpected high point foods. That was like, I got a couple of things. I have some notes. So yeah, some are expected, some aren't, because you can't expect everything. It's a sentence. Okay, choosing not to eat a certain food without a plan in place for when we do come across it sets us up to rely on willpower. There you go. Which is unreliable. Exactly. I went into that last week I didn't have lunch, and I didn't bring anything with me. And I knew I was going to be there a while, so I should have packed myself food. Not that I couldn't eaten that, because I could have. Because there were things that I could have eaten. Problem was, at that point, I was like, well, I'll grab that too. There's these things there that I really shouldn't have indulged much in, and I did. Did I overindulge? I didn't. That's the funny thing. I wish I had finished all those things that I grabbed. I gave them all to Steve. So had I finished them, where would I be now? Up 6 pounds? I don't know, but yes. Creating a plan for when we'll enjoy these foods reduces the need to spend energy trying to force them out of our minds. That was a big discussion on the Zoom today about sometimes when we don't have what we want, we eat everything else in place of it, and then we still go back and eat that. That happens to me. So for me, my game plan is always shrink it or swap it. Swap it in a way that's not going to affect the overall of it. Like I said, swap out ingredients, swap out monk fruit for sugar, swap out applesauce for butter in a recipe. Like I've done that for that bread last week. It was fantastic. Now, granted, you can't do it for everything. You can't. But can you swipe out light butter for regular butter in a recipe? You sure can, and it's not going to affect it too much. But definitely, you have to enjoy it. And that is the whole thing. All these things, to shrink it, swap it, skip it, you need to be satisfied with it at the end of that. Because if you're not satisfied, you're going to go back and find why. And it's just going to be like, you're going to be in twice as much as you just originally ate it. Research tells us when we deprive ourselves of certain foods, we're more likely to crave, oh yeah, and end up eating those foods compared to people who don't. And you're going to be eating more because we have in our mind what these things are, and we make them into such like the holy grail of everything. In the end, they really aren't, but we do that because we don't allow ourselves to have it. What is my famous line? Just have some. Just have some. Choosing not to eat a certain food without a plan in place for when we do come across it sets us up to rely on willpower, which we know is unreliable. I already read that one. But yes, when we swear off foods, what happens? We want them even more. I mean, I know a lot of people say, I can't have that in, D. I can't have that in because having that in causes me to binge and I can't. I think there's got to be some way to discipline. Like I found for me, as long as it's not sitting in front of me, I don't go looking for it anymore. And because I know I'm going to have it, I had a lot of people mention last week I had on these little edible cookie doughs. And I can't have that around. I ate a whole jar. I used to be that way, but when I realized that I will have it tomorrow, I don't need to eat the whole jar today because I will have some tomorrow and the day after that. They do last me now because I'm not putting it on that pedestal of, oh, yes, you're a food that I can't have all the time. So I don't dream about food as much as I used to because I'm having it. And I feel like I have that need. Swapping out things, I don't skip much of anything. I would say skip it definitely is not on my top 4. Shrink it, swap it, and savor it. Absolutely. And savor everything. I mean, sit there, have a moment. Don't inhale it. I'm from the school of I used to grab my fly-by nuts. I did like, no. Now I put them in a cup. I sit down and I eat one at a time. So they last longer. And I remember having them. When you grab something and shove it in your mouth, your brain doesn't have time to remember that you've eaten it because you just shoved it in so fast. So that's been my experience. I like to share that with you. It doesn't always matter that we, like Halloween, like I don't celebrate Halloween. We don't have little kids that go out. We sometimes go to, I don't think we're opening the door this year. I told Steve I'm not doing it. Well, I haven't done it in years. I don't think he is. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to like be somewhere and there's Halloween candy out. I'm going to think, of course. Because yeah, we don't celebrate things, but we certainly eat for it. Like there's people that don't celebrate Christmas. But boy, when it comes to Christmas dinner, they're get invited, they'll go. And yeah, because we do celebrate things like that. We do indulge in those celebratory foods. Not knowingly, like people who don't like pumpkin indulge in a pumpkin beverage sometimes because it's just that time of year, and whether you like it or not, it's just like it feels like fall. I want to have an apple beverage or a pumpkin beverage. And how do we navigate that? How do we, like I've given you tips about how to shrink your lattes because lattes are ridiculously high in points and calories. And I try to tell you, swapping out for skim milk, swapping out these pumps of syrup that get put in there. They put in the maximum, which honestly is too much. You could do 1 pump of the sugar and 2 pumps of the sugar-free of a different flavor, which for most places is only vanilla, which kind of pisses me off. There should be sugar-free everything. But those little tips, and get a small. You don't, like I said, you go into the app, medium comes up. You can toggle to a small and then adjust all that. So you could have that latte instead of having that latte, and make that latte memorable. Make that latte last. Don't suck it all down. I do have a hard time when they're iced because they tend to go down really fast. But I also ask for less ice a little bit. I say, can I have a little bit less ice? Because sometimes half the glass is ice and you don't even get that much latte. Or if you don't want to have that much, then ask for the regular ice. But sometimes I do say light ice. But, you know, we have to make decisions in a cool state before we go to these parties. Before I left last week, I was in a cool state. I should have made a plan, and I should have brought myself at least some snacks. If nothing else, lunch. I should have eaten lunch, and I didn't, because I was on the rush to get this cake, and I had to get there early, and I didn't stop to take care of me. I didn't. And I was thinking, I think November, we're on here on Dish with D, we're going to have Pamper Month. I think we're going to take care of ourselves in November, because December, we're taking care of everybody else. We got Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. So we're taking care of our families for December. But how about we take care of us in November? How about we focus on just us and what we need to do in November? So we are ready for December. We are ready to tackle the holidays, because let me tell you something. We think we got it under control, and sometimes we don't, because we need to have a plan. It doesn't have to be an exact plan. Like, there's people there that plan everything, you know, but we could have that's the thing, like, I want to instill. You don't have to have this plan for everything. We just have a guideline. Like, that's all we need, just a guideline, because some of us aren't planners. Not a planner. So for me to sit there and have the whole thing done is not me. But I could set myself up bullet points and a guideline for how I'm going to tackle the holidays. So if that is something you're interested in, let me know in the comment section below. For Pamper, we have to give a name. It's like basically taking care of us November. So if you can think of a name, it would be great. I will be putting my brain thinking cap on too, but it's just going to be Self-Care November, I think. It's like, I need to write that down. I think, like, because we know December comes, we want to be ready for it, and we want to, you know, even the end of November, but if we start early in November, by the end of November, hopefully we'll be in a good place when Thanksgiving comes. So yes, you know, think of the foods that you cannot live without. How can you shrink it, swap it? I don't recommend skipping it, unless it's something you really don't like. Like, there's people that really don't like pie. Like, so I don't really like pie. I personally don't like apple pie. I don't, so I can skip apple pie. But I like pumpkin pie, so what I do is I shrink it and make it crustless, because honestly, the best part is the pumpkin and the little bit of whipped cream. I'm not skipping the whipped cream. I do lighten up the whipped cream, so, like, that's the little things you can do. Like cranberry sauce, I'm not skipping it, so I needed to swap ingredients in there. I used monk fruit instead of sugar, and it's just cranberries. That's it, cranberries and monk fruit. Sometimes I do the Ina Garten one, where I put in, I think it's an apple and the juice of a lemon and an orange. That is the cranberry, I think it's called cranberry sauce or cranberry fruit conserve. Ina Garten makes it, and I've made it regular, but with them, once I was on Weight Watchers, I just subbed out the sugar for it. The apple's fine, the lemon and the juices of the orange are fine, and it's fantastic. And nobody here sits there and go, oh, this is terrible. Weight Watchers has a fantastic cranberry sauce. It has red wine and jalapenos in it. It's so good. It's really good with ham too. But yeah, go in the Weight Watchers app, look for like recipes. Now, stuffing, I just shrink it. I just eat less. I am not swapping out anything, because it's not detrimental in the grand scheme of things. It's bread, it's turkey stock, it's chopped up gizzards, it's a little bit of sauteed, well, no, a lot of sauteed carrot, onions and celery. In butter, yes. But I mean, how much of that am I actually eating in my portion? No, I just have less. I stick to my like half to 3/4 of a cup. And I do fill my plate extra with roasted vegetables, because I want to be satisfied. I don't want to leave that meal starving. So I have to fill up on nice fibrous squash, and there's maybe a potato and maybe some broccoli or some Brussels sprouts, and they're all fall inspired vegetables. So my plate is, you've seen me, I will tell you, 9 times out of 10 in the last, since I've been on W since 2013, I've not gained over Thanksgiving, because I focus on vegetables, and I focus on portions, and I focus on turkey. Turkey's a 0 point protein. So yeah, you could fill up your plate with turkey and vegetables, and then have your stuffing and have your cranberry sauce, your lightened up cranberry sauce. I do not have the roll. I do skip the roll. It's not something I can't live without. It isn't. It's like kind of what would I rather have, the stuffing or the roll? And I chose the stuffing. So, and it's not gluten-free, and I don't care on Thanksgiving because that's how life goes. And I get weighed day after Thanksgiving this year. Oh, yeah. I will. I'll go in anyway. And I probably will be up because it's just the day after and all that salt and stuff. But I don't think I will have a true gain. And I'm fine with that. But yeah, what things, think ahead. We have to plan ahead. Just like sketchy plans, like what recipes or what things do you want to have for Thanksgiving, and what can you shrink and swap, but not skip. I'm not a, unless you really don't want it. Like the roll, to me, that just I didn't need it because we have rolls all the time. But stuffing is once a year. Cranberry sauce is sometimes a few times a year because I always keep cranberries in the freezer. So those are things I definitely need to have on my plate. Pumpkin pie, well, I have pumpkin a lot, but I don't have a pie. Sometimes I make different pumpkin items, but I was thinking about maybe doing, we were at the Amish market and Steve got this pumpkin, I can't remember what the heck it was called, but it was pumpkin mixed with whipped cream, and it had like a crust mixed in there. I'm thinking, how can I lighten that up? But I thought, what if I mix the pumpkin with light whipped cream and yogurt? Skip the little crunchy things, or maybe put some like graham cracker, I don't know. But I think I can make that light and make like a little like fluff for myself. So I don't know. I think I've made pumpkin fluff here before. I might have to look that up. Pumpkin fluff. So that is the topic of the week. Shrink it, swap it, skip it, or savor it. I'm all about. Skip it isn't. I should put that on the thumbnail. Skip and put an extra cross. No, we don't skip. We have to shrink, because that is how we stay lifestyle. If you skip it, you're just putting it off. You have to deal with it. How do we deal with it? And that's one of the things I've learned over the last few years is, how do I deal with it? I have to deal with it. I can't just put it over here and not deal with it. I have to deal with it. And I do ask for help here, because sometimes I need to let them know that I'm having issues. And they have all been good here. The boys and Steve are a great source of support for me. They know that I struggle. And they're there, they'll take it, they'll hide, they'll put it away. But when something sits out, it tends to call my name. And with practice, it gets better. I can sit here and tell you that. When you practice it, it gets better. It's like a learned thing. Like I've had to learn that I can't just eat what I want as much as I want. I have to learn that I can't do that anymore, because that didn't work. I gained 100 pounds, and we don't want to gain 100 pounds back. And how do I keep? I just have to be diligent. That's why I buy those things. That's why I buy those nut butters and I buy those cookie doughs, because I want them. And they're made in a way that I can fit them in. Like even like people were talking about in the meeting about they would never swap out peanut butter for powdered peanut butter. Like I said, that's a choice that you make. That is something that you have to decide. I can't sit there and tell you you need to have that. No, you need to decide what you want to swap. For me, it hits the note. It's fine. I don't miss peanut butter. I enjoy the powdered, granted I do mix it with different things, so it definitely changes it. But yeah, so you have to be able to, when you swap something, you have to be able to enjoy that swap, and not to say it's okay. No, it has to be better than okay. It has to be good. And don't be sitting there settling. Find something else, or just eat less of it. And there's so many, like the American Dreams are lower in point peanut butters than traditional peanut butters. And I know like somebody was saying Nerdy Nuts, I think last night in the live. There's different, like, there's Nuts and More. There's lots of different peanut butters out there that put things in there that make them lower in points and calories. You have to decide, how you want to eat. It's your life. You decide what you eat. Don't let somebody else sit there and tell you to eat this. I'm not going to ever sit here and say that powdered peanut butter is better than regular peanut butter. That's what you should eat. I don't fearmonger anybody. I don't like when people say, you can't eat that, you shouldn't eat that, this is bad. No. Anything in moderation. And if you want to eat peanut butter, eat the stinking peanut butter. You decide your food. Nobody else should decide what you eat. Nothing is inherently bad out there. There's lots of people you could watch that sit there and say, well, I don't eat that. We don't eat like that. We don't do this. That's what they think. You need to think for yourself and decide what you want to eat. If you agree with them, that's great. Then agree. But don't do it because they're scaring you into believing that. So yeah, I was watching this girl, and that was the thing out there. it's these health influencers, these fear-mongering health influencers. And I don't know, like all of a sudden that's the rage. Let's just scare people. Honestly, if it's out there, you can eat it. You can. It wouldn't be put on the shelves if you weren't allowed to eat it. It's not going to kill you out there. If it was, it wouldn't be on the shelves. So always make the decisions for yourself and decide. You know, Thanksgiving is probably a little over a month away. You decide. You need to plan ahead. We need in a cool state. Like that's what they just said. Don't do it when you're in that hot state, because I guarantee it won't end pretty. Proof positive of that. So do it when you're cool, calm, and collected. So that is this week's topic. I love this week's topic. I love enjoying life moments and deciding, you know, how you're going to handle it, because it is in your ballpark. Nobody else can make this decision for you. We're big girls. We have to decide, and boys have to decide how we want to eat our food. You know, we have to decide it in the cool state and shrink it, skip it, swap it, or savor it. I always say, get rid of skip it. You need to shrink it, swap it, and savor every bite. So that is it for me. Like I said, are you into self-care November? We need to pamper ourselves, get ready for the big D, December, because we'll be taking care of everybody else. We got shopping to do, we got packages to wrap, houses to decorate, we got lots to go on in December. So let's take care of ourselves in November so we are ready and strong to tackle December. So let me know if you're in the comment section below. Let me know how your week went in the comment section below. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it indifferent? Do you know, do you get me when I say about these topics? I get it. This one's a good one. Next week's supposed to be about sleep, so it's interesting. So that is it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know with the big old thumbs up. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, join us here for Dish with D, for realistic chit chat. I don't pull any punches here. I say like it pretty much is. And some people don't like that, and that's okay. You know, not everybody's gonna like what you have to say because you're not saying what they want to hear. I'm saying what needs to be heard. And then sometimes we put those blinders and we can't hear it. So I get it. I do. I totally understand. But if you want to hang around with us, hit that subscribe button, join our community here on YouTube. We have a fantastic Facebook group, Dish with D's Crew. We'd love to have you join. It is totally free. Subscribing is totally free. It costs you nothing, but look at all the benefits that you get. You get lots. I upload videos a minimum of 3 days a week, sometimes 4, sometimes 5, depends on my mood, but the minimum of 3 videos a week, but you never know what you're going to get. And I will dish with you another day. Bye-bye, my lovelies. Have a great week. Look at the beautiful changing trees. I wanted to face that tree because it was so beautiful. So you're welcome. See you later, my lovelies.